G-Shock watches are tough. I mean, really, really tough. Everybody knows this, but what most people don't know, because they've never seen it, is what a G-Shock looks like inside. Now, this is my G-Shock. I'm not going to work on anyone else's watch because the risk this time is too great. Okay, I'm a watchmaker and I work on high-end watches, but I have never stripped down or reassembled a G-Shock. I wear this one when I go running with Mango the dog. I'm kind of attached to it. I'm not sure even if I like it that much, but it's functional and it's part of my routine. And I don't want to break it, but I do want to show you guys what's inside. And I'm kind of interested to see that myself. So let's take it apart and put it back together again. And with a bit of luck, it will still work. So when you work on traditional watches, you never have to use a Phillips screwdriver. So I have had to go back home to my garage and get these mucky looking screwdrivers. Okay, just take the back off. That's a pretty straightforward thing to do. And just line everything up nice and neat. Okay, let's take the back off and see what we've got. Oh, that looks a bit mucky. Obviously some grit and sand. I do take this watch to the beach quite a lot, and it's got trapped under there and rusted. Okay, let's take the metal back. This is the real back. The other one is just really cosmetic, I guess. This is the one that is providing the water protection to the watch. So let's have a little look what's under here. Okay, we have some insulation over a printed circuit board, so let's take this insulation layer off, and there we have the main module, which is a Casio 5590. Okay, it has no jewels. That's not surprising. And the first thing we're going to do is liberate the gasket, which as you can see is a custom shape. You can't just buy a round one. Things to watch out for. I don't like the look of these tiny little springs. That could be a bit of an issue. Okay, let's get the module out now. So pegwood is really, really useful. So I'm just putting a little bit of pegwood in here to lift up the module. Wood doesn't scratch metal, so that's good. It also doesn't conduct electricity, so we're not going to short anything out because the batteries, as you see, are still in there, although they're pretty dead. And we're just going to take this out in the normal way. This is the same way we would take the movement out on a Rolex, although you probably wouldn't have to tap it like that. Okay, there is the module. And here is the carbon core. As you can see, it is pretty mucky there. There's a lot of garbage on it, and so the bezel here looks like it's screwed on with these 1, 2, 3, 4 screws with the Allen key inserts there, but in actual fact these are just dummy. They're just for show, and the bezel is actually just clipped in with these clips on the inside here, this being one and this being another, another and another. So if we release those, we should be able to get the bezel off. Okay, I've speeded up the footage here a little bit and quickly identified that you can't really do this with just one screwdriver. You need to adopt this double screwdriver technique, because one of the screwdrivers moves the little clip, then you need the other one to prise off the bezel, and then just sort of go round it like this, and eventually it will come free, which is going to enable us to get underneath it and really clean out the carbon core. Nearly there. There we go. And it has left debris all over my nice new cushion. And there's the bezel. Nice. Okay, this is the carbon core. It's pretty mucky, as you can see. And this will go in the ultrasonic cleaner later, and it'll come out minty clean once we've finished with it. But if you've got a G-Shock, it's probably what it looks like inside. Okay, moving on. Let's take the batteries out. Probably should have done this earlier, but they are pretty much no charge in them anyway. I'll deal with the type of batteries you need when we're putting the watch together. So when we put new batteries in, I'll let you know that later on in the video. But for the moment, let's just get rid of them. Oh, by the way, don't leave these lying around, because they're dangerous to kids, especially small children. So make sure you store them properly and then dispose of them carefully. Right, let's get this metal stainless steel clip off, and that'll let us get down into the printed circuit board. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's remove the hands. So coming in carefully now, this is how you would do it with a traditional watch. The plastic is there to stop scratching any part of the dial. You need to use quite thick plastic. This is doubled up, and then we're going to use gravity just to drop the hands with the other components. Okay, so just dropping the hands and carefully popping them when I can pick them up. Oop. Nice and neat. I can't pick these hands up. There we go. Okay, so going to remove the printed circuit board now. I think there are 3 screws to take out. Just doing the first of these now. And coming in nice and close. Nice thin tweezers to take that screw away. And now we can take the printed circuit board away from what I would call the main plate if it was a traditional watch. And there it is. You know, actually this printed circuit board kind of looks quite cool. It's kind of shaped like a manta ray. Now we've got to deal with these tiny little screws. Oh, that's a nightmare. Where did that go? Oh, it's trapped between the edge of my cushion and the cushion itself. So we're going to have to get this out. So I have put it upside down inside a tray and give it a bit of a tap. Hopefully the spring will come out. And yep, yeah, it's there. If I can focus on it, which I can. There it is. You got to be so careful with these little things because small components, any small components, are difficult to deal with. As you can see, this is a tiny component, and not only is it a tiny component, but it's a springy tiny component, and those two things together are a bit of a nightmare, because if it springs off somewhere and you lose it, the watch won't work afterwards, because I'm pretty sure that these are not just springs, they are conducting electricity to and from the LCD display. So just dealing with another one here, picking up nice and carefully with some Rodico. Okay, this is definitely a G-Shock challenge. Now these ones on the end here, they're a little bit longer than the ones on the side, so again, it's not just a question of putting 4 of these little gold springs back. You've got to put the right ones in the right place, or again, the watch won't work when you put it back together. So, just taking off this little yellow piece of insulation so it doesn't fall off and get lost. We'll put that with the rest of the stuff. Now dealing with these brass conductors, little conducting clips at the edge of the battery. There are 4 of them in total, and there are 2 of each type, and they are identical for each of the battery compartments. Just changing tweezers here, so I can take this one out. Okay, and the last one, and just putting them nice and safely away. So I am not sure how these little stepper motors come out at all. It is not obvious. So one thing we can try, it's a little bit agricultural, but we can just try and push it out. No, it doesn't want to do that. Okay, so this is me now starting to accidentally go too deep. What I think I'm doing is taking screws out of the stepper motors, which apart from springing around all over the bench, I think they're gonna mean that once they're out I can take the stepper motor out, but that is actually not what is going on here at all. And in a minute you'll see what happens when the second of these screws that I'm taking out is removed from its location. And I don't recommend you do this. If you watch a bit further, you'll find just how easy it is to take these stepper motors out. And right here, I'm just doing it the wrong way. And as you can see, that is the result. What I'm actually just done is taken the lid off the stepper motor. I didn't want to go that deep. That is a little bit of a nightmare, because you've got to get all those plastic pivots back in, which I have just done, and am now moving on to removing the mode wheel. I figure that the stepper motors come out the other way, so we've got to get the dial off, and you can't get the dial off without removing this mode wheel. But we're immediately into another problem here, because my hand levers won't fit between the dial and, or the raised part of the dial and the mode wheel. So it's all getting a bit too agricultural. So recklessly now, I'm sticking in a screwdriver and just getting enough leverage to bully this wheel up. It's on quite tight, and there it is. There was no other way. It had to come off, and there it is. Okay. So with the dial off, you can see now just how good the design actually is by Casio for the retention of these stepper motors, because they're simply held in by this thin stainless steel retention plate. So I'm just removing the screws that hold that in, and then we're going to lift that off, and that should enable us just to take out the two stepper motors. I think the design here is really nice. It's a little bit stubborn to come off, because it's actually also clipped in. There are two clips, but perseverance, and there she goes. And just take that to one side, take off the hour wheel. It's just like a normal hour wheel on a Rolex, although it isn't as nice, and take out the two stepper motors. Okay, when the components are quite badly soiled, for want of a better word, the best thing to do is to clean them by hand before ultrasonically cleaning them. Now, these are plastic components, so I'm not using any harsh solvents here. This is just water and some really nice detergent, which looks lovely, and I think is something like, I don't know, passion fruit and pomegranate or something like that, but you can use what you like. So giving these a nice good scrub now. This is really satisfying to get in and do this. You got to get in there with your toothbrush and get all this gunk out. I do like doing this. And the result is, as you can see, that is quite clean even before it goes into the ultrasonic cleaner, so pleased with that. Okay, this pressed metal plate on the end here, I'm a little bit worried about this because this is not stainless steel. I think this is base metal with some plating over the top of it, so depending on how bad this corrosion is, you know, we might not be able to get it all off. If it's actually taken off the plate, we won't be able to get it looking pristine. Going to pull out all the stops, so we're going to actually put, because this is metal, I'm putting some harsher solvent on there. This is watch cleaning fluid. This is the stuff that you would normally put in the ultrasonic cleaner when you're cleaning the metal parts of a nice traditional watch. This will shift the dirt, but as you can see, you know, there are places where the plating has just come away, so that's as good as we're going to get with this. But it's cosmetic. From an engineering point of view, it's no big deal. You know what, that smells really good. My G-Shock is going to smell great after this. Okay, using a high-tech piece of drying equipment here, highly specialised for the job. And as I predicted, you know, these parts when they come out the ultrasonic cleaner are minty clean. Really, really nice. Chuffed with that. Okay, so here is the whole movement now ready to put back together. Not done one of these before. A little bit worried about the stepper motor, whether or not that's gonna fire up when we get it all back together, but pretty happy with the cleanliness. So let us begin. Oh, but before I do that, I just want to show you this. Oh, this looks nice. This is my new watch from my own brand Major, which was my rank when I left the British Army. Now, in the past these have been made all in black, but this is the new version in steel. Check out the link in the description. Even as I start to put this watch back together and clip in this plate that holds down the two stepper motors, I am making another mistake, and I wonder if you can see what that is. And I don't correct it for some time because it's a while before I manage to figure out what I've done wrong. But if you watch closely, you should be able to see what I am messing up here. Okay, the mistake now is pretty obvious, and I have actually corrected it now. So I had to undo quite a lot of stuff and go back and redo it. Just putting the mode wheel on here. And there it is, back on the movement. Just give it a little bit of a clean, get the dust out. And putting back the little connectors for the battery. This part, which is the LCD display, is a little bit fiddly, to say the least, and everything has to line up because you've got the little zebra connector, they call it, at the top there, that actually brings all of the current to it. So I actually skipped a little bit of the filming there, and now moving on to these tiny little springs. These are a nightmare. This is the G-Shock challenge in action, and I've got to film a close-up. How about that? Nice. Okay, it's all in, so I can put the printed circuit board back on. I do have to say that a sign of a well-made watch is that stuff just fits, and I was surprised how easy that circuit board went on and connected with everything. So hats off to Casio there. That to produce something that goes on that easy is not easy. So I think Casio have done a good job here. Anyway, just putting the final third screw on the printed circuit board here to fix it down properly. Now hopefully all those tiny little parts are in the right place, because if they weren't, it's not going to work, and that will make me glum. Okay, I've jumped forward a little bit. I was so excited when I got the printed circuit board on to see if the watch was actually going to work again, that I have put this stainless steel plate that retains the two batteries in. I have put new batteries in, and I have put it back in the now nice and clean carbon core. That's what this thing is. This is called carbon core guard because this is the carbon core. So the next thing to do, if you read this, is to touch AC against the negative. Okay, so we're going to do that now. Now this whole metal plate is a negative plane, it says so on it, and you can see also that is insulated from the positive on the battery there. So if we touch the AC terminal with some tweezers there and touch that for 2 seconds, that should reset everything. And then the moment of truth, we're going to turn the watch over and see what we've got. And whoa, something is happening. It says sub. At this point I realise that I have absolutely no idea on how to reset this up. Let's see if the light works first. Let's push the bottom here. So, and it doesn't. So pushing the bottom there should make the light work, and it doesn't. Let's see if the mode dial works. Oh, that's some movement there. Trying to do something. I definitely saw some movement there. Yeah, that's trying to do something, but not much. And then it's flashing. Right, so did notice that on the back here we've got this spring, and this is obviously to touch this and probably ground it. This, I want to say this metal back plate here. So I'm going to place that on the back there, but first, he said drop in something, we're going to need to put on this little bit of insulation. So I'm going to do that and put the back on and see if that gets us anywhere. going to hold it on and retry this now. Let's have a little look. Okay, get that in focus and retry the light. Yay, we have a light. That is good. So that obviously affects the electronics. Try that. It's still not working. That is less than good. Okay. Okay, so the technical term for what I've just done is I've just fiddled about with it and pushed a few buttons, taken the back on and off a few times, and I think we've got some action now, because if I go to the mode wheel, that is now working. I think the only thing is that it is not orientated properly, because that should be the time thing, and world time is on time, so it is out by there are 5 of them. It's out by 360 divided by 5, whatever that is in terms of degrees. So I need to sort that out, because in that position the yellow bar should be directly to the left. Also, I need to put the hands on. I'm so excited to see if it actually worked, and it does. I think we're in. I think I've just got to realign this mode wheel here, put the hands on. I'm going to set the time to about midnight. I think there's a function for aligning the hands for the right time anyway in the module once I've done it, but I think we are now close to a result on this. So let's get the under the dial cleaned, and because there's some gunk on that, although the actual components are a lot cleaner now they've been through the ultrasonic, and get the hands on and finish this up, see if I can get it all working. Okay, the battery is an SR726. I think the alternative battery number is a 397. So yeah, it is 397 or 726. These are 1.55 volts each. So going to pop these in now, and hopefully we'll be in a position to set this up and get it going. There's the other one. Just make sure that that is in properly. Those don't come unclipped. Okay. Okay. Okay, that is looking good. Right, just got to figure out how to reset the time and everything, but I'm going to put the watch back together and then show you that all working. That is good. Off with that. Now, once you've put the back on, and on this case back here, you need to use the screw holes closest to the pushers, otherwise the yellow back won't go on. You need to just go around with a nice big wide screwdriver and torque them up so that you get the waterproof capability from that nice squashed silicone greased gasket. Let's put the back on. Et voila. So the strap is okay. Let's see if we can go back to London. Swap the time, and that should take us back now. Look at that. That is cool. It's taking us back to the time in London, which is 1614, which is which is pretty much correct. Okay, although it's not Saturday. My 1965 Seikomatic with the dodgy bracelet is set wrong, but it is the 14th and it is 4:15. So that is sweet, although I say so myself, what shouldn't. Right, let's take it to the beach.